Hey, good morning. Hey, Connor. What's up, Jingle? Day's going great. You know, can't complain. Hey, guest, how's it going? Okay. And there we go. It's coming along. Connor, what's taking up a bunch of my time this week, I've been, hey, best cap ever. Welcome to the stream. That's okay. I'm happy to explain just what the heck we're doing here. I've been editing about a month and change worth of stream clips. Those daily videos that I post. Hey, Tess. As well as shooting just a whole bunch of thumbnails. Because I was running short. So just some beginning of the year sort of house cleaning a little bit. Greetings. But excited to get back into some bigger projects. Nice part is once I get these videos going, I'm good on them for probably about a month and a half, maybe more. Hey, Boxed Out. Well, it's the morning, so got to kick things off with something. I don't know what we're going to make yet, but I'm excited. So if you haven't been to a stream like this before, it's called the Daily Encounter. I've got this 5-year diary, which means each year's entry, we get this short entry. And the idea is using some inspiration. I've got some prompts on the front and the back of the book that we'll use. I just want to make something with some dice rolling that we can use to sort of come up with new ideas for our games. It's kind of hard to explain. If you see it, though, play out once, I think you'll get it. So we're going to create a couple of tables, but let's see what we're going to base it on. Since we're on the right hand of the page, I'm going to roll on a prompt list on the back. Looks like a 53 in the back of the book. That's fun. 53 gives us Twisted into Knots. Twisted into Knots. Let me get my text up on screen so that you guys can follow along. As nice as my handwriting is. So Twisted into Knots, I think about knots like sailing. I think about knots like a survival, maybe like an archer. Any sort of hunter would probably be able to make knots. Twisting, though. Twisting makes me think of a storm. Haven't done anything with maybe twisting into knots. Maybe we take that kind of ship and storm idea. Maybe that's where I'll go. And also tying the knot. Good one, Data. I don't think I've ever run a wedding in any of my games before. I don't think so. Hey, Construct. So, let's see here. Okay. I think I have it. We're on the 4th, right? Yeah, we're on the 4th. Look at that. 1, 2, 3 days in a row. Psh, on a roll. Could be a fear thing, like how when you're scared, your stomach tries to twist it into knots. True. Can play off the fear angle as well. Okay. Okay. This will be interesting. Like I said, don't know where this is going to take us, but the storm was terrifying. It rocked the ship back and forth. The weird thing was... And the sky was clear. How about the sky was clear the whole time? The ring of the sun. Oh, the rain. It rained blood. The captain stayed calm. These are good. Ooh, like a sort of a dead magic type of thing. Maybe oh yeah, there's something. Maybe just as simple as our magic. Our magic did nothing. No waves, completely silent. It's crystals. The storm was terrifying. It rocked the ship back and forth. The weird thing was, the sky was clear. It was raining blood. The captain was calm the whole time. Our magic stopped working. Cap, no clouds were seen. Rained blood. It wasn't rain falling, it was crystals. We'd been there before. Ooh. Okay, got a couple ideas from those. Good ones. Saw other ships. He had dreamt it. Dreamt? Is that the right way to say that? No one else noticed. Storm was terrifying. It rocked the ship back and forth. The weird thing was the sky was clear. It rained blood. The captain stayed calm. Our magic did nothing. We saw other ships there. We had dreamt it all before. I think the silence is a neat angle. We hadn't left yet. Like we were docked, maybe. The storm sent us off course. We ended up ships looked like it was made of shadows. Even though the sky was clear, we could only see their silhouette. I like shadow. I'm gonna say we ended up in darkness. Storm was terrifying. It rocked the ship back and forth. The weird thing was the sky was clear the whole time. Our magic stopped working. We had dreamt the storm. And it sent us off course. We ended up in total darkness. We ended up all the fun, just thinking of all the fun sort of like ship kind of stories. Yeah, it's almost like backwards or reversed or something like that. The end of the world. Back where we started. How about losing years? The Kraken's lair. Ended up at the Kraken's lair. I like it. It certainly end up beached, right? Going back to the ending up sort of on land idea. Also harken back to one of my favorite stories, favorite shows of all time. How about we ended up in the middle of the jungle? Top of a mountain, similar, in the sky, overlooking the harbor. Ooh, sailing through the clouds. I like that. Christopher Nolan ended up behind a bookcase. At least we can send messages to our daughter. In ancient ruins that were previously undiscovered. How about discovering lost ruins? Silent city. For some reason, we ended up dead. Came to mind, but maybe it's we ended up with company, right? Storm was terrifying. It rocked the ship back and forth. Weird thing was, we saw other ships in the storm. It was completely silent the whole time. We never left. We'd been docked. Sent us off course. We ended up in total darkness, losing years at sea, at the Kraken's lair, in the middle of the jungle, sailing through clouds, discovering lost ruins. Boxed out, the darkness represents convergence of timelines. I think that would be a great way to interpret it. Best kept, some of the crew called it a bad spirit, others the apparitions of a god. Ooh, okay. Hey, Bogus. Welcome to the stream. All right. Ooh, I like the ruins emerging from. All right, cool. Let's roll a couple. Let's see what we get. Just a couple of D8 tables. Lost at sea. Let's see. 3 and a 1. Storm was terrifying. It rocked the ship back and forth. The weird thing was the captain remained calm the whole time. And it sent us off course. We ended up in darkness. Hey, Boxed Out, thanks so much for the for joining. I soon we'll have the wall built up over here, but there's a brick on the table now, or there will be a brick on the table with your name on it. So if the captain remained calm and we ended up in total darkness, this sounds like the captain conjuring some sort of storm spirit in order to steal from the ship. That's the vibe I'm getting. Like, it was completely dark, but the captain had been unbothered by it. That's why we're hiring you, party, to help us find the captain, because we're pretty sure he stole whatever we were shipping. I like that. That'd be a cool setup for a heist at sea. Let's see. Malik? Can I call you Malik? It's actually the name of one of the characters in one of my games. Hello, hi. Welcome to the stream. I like your idea of ruins emerging from a whirlpool, or being revealed by them, maybe. 1 and a 4. Storm was terrifying. It rocked the ship back and forth. The weird thing was the sky never darkened. The sky was clear. It sent us off course. We ended up in the middle of the jungle. So this would, yeah, it's almost like experiencing teleportation from the perspective of an unwilling, ship. Like, I imagine the crew and they look up and it's like, it feels like a storm, but in reality they're just seeing the skies change first, right? The sky, it's like they're moved from the sea to an island somewhere, and it's daytime there, so they see the sky change, they feel like they're in a storm, and then they've been teleported to the jungle. Why? I mean, that's where the interesting stuff comes in, I guess. Why would somebody, maybe it was a mistake. Maybe somebody was trying to conjure something else. Ended up with a full crew and ship instead. Storm was terrifying. It rocked the ship back and forth. The weird thing was, we hadn't left yet. We were docked. And the storm sent us off course. We ended up sailing through the clouds, which almost feels like like an eruption, an explosion, a giant wave, a monster, or something. That's like sailing through the clouds is like, I feel like that's like the euphemism for, like, the ship is in trouble. The ship is sailing through the air before it comes crashing into the city, maybe. But if we wanted to take it in a less of a kind of less silly direction, I guess it's all kind of silly. Feels like the crew would find out what type of ship it really was, right? They were docked, they were about to leave, they had a certain expectation, and then it seems like there's a storm, and then they end up in the sky. It's like, oh, did you not know this was an airship? That's what this does. This is an arcane sailing ship. They went in total darkness because they were teleported. Was nighttime. That true. Best Gap could totally do that. It could be that reason. Catapult's a great spell construct, even though people like Fireball. Okay. 6 and a 3. Storm was terrifying. It rocked the ship back and forth. The weird thing was, we had a dream about all of this before, maybe the night before. And the storm sent us off course. We ended up at the Kraken's lair. I mean, for a ship's crew to be summoned by, the Kraken feels a lot more menacing than just running out. Usually I feel like my instinct is that, creatures at sea, you just sort of stumble upon them, right? You disturb the waters and grapple with whatever giant tentacled monster. But the idea that the crew would have a dream, would be communicated to like the night before, and then when they actually board the ship, are sailing, are brought to it. It's like, okay, this Kraken is it's looking for minions at that point. Exactly. What could the Kraken want? Storm might have had water. That's good. That's good too, Malik. Teleport can ruin fun if they stay doing anything else. Oh, the teleport. Yeah. I think I can keep 8. Yeah, no, this is good. Storm was terrifying. It rocked the ship back and forth. The weird thing was the entire storm was completely silent. It sent us off course, though. We ended up being attacked by undead. It's completely silent. It feels like being attacked by the undead. It feels, and maybe this is just like the Obra Dinn in the back of my mind, which now is like something I always think about when talking about ships, the Return of the Obra Dinn, which is an amazing game. It feels like somebody opened up one of the chests that they, carted off from their last, the last island they visited, and somebody opened it up and everything sort of, the colors sort of leave the area and everything goes quiet. And being attacked by undead, it's like, well, that's just the rest of the crew. That's just whoever was closest to it has been, taken. Hey, Bitter. Good morning, everyone. I'm working my second ever mini dungeon for my party to discover soon on breaks. I'm working on a skill tree for the campaign later. Hope everyone stays. Oh, cool. Nice. Sounds awesome, Bitter. All right, let's do one more roll on this. I think there's one more that we could pull out. Nope. Okay. 2 and a 6. The storm was terrifying. It rocked the ship back and forth. The weird thing was it was raining blood. That's pretty weird. That would be pretty awful. Sent us off course. We ended up discovering lost ruins. I'm glad we hit one of these because it's like, okay, how does it fit? Right? Because raining blood and the connection to some sort of sacrificial site, right? Some sort of ruins. It's almost like sailing into, yeah, exactly, Malik. Like, could be a trap. Could be a trap. It kind of feels like, because especially at sea or any sort of sailing vessel, you could end up in uncharted places people haven't visited for a very long time. And I really like this idea that really intense emotional energy could sort of make, it's not exactly like time travel, but I like the idea that visiting a place could almost bring some of that to the surface. Like if there are ruins and it's at sea, a sunken tower maybe, or something where a horrible, either a battle took place or maybe a lich's last stand, and it's sort of like that. It's sort of like the ship sort of pierces that sort of bubble of sort of chaotic magic and or maybe here, let's play with the time idea a little bit more. Piercing the bubble. What if, never had this idea before, what if the magic, like if there was sort of a wizard battle, right? Yeah, wild magic surge jingle kind of. But what if there were two wizards fighting and sort of that clashing of magic, and maybe the lich is using time stop, and maybe the effect of this has basically had like their final moment sort of stuck in time out in this sort of these uncharted waters, this sunken tower as it falls. Like it's basically been this way for years, right? Like for them it's their last moment, but you basically, the ship sails into it and it's like, this is how did we enter a storm, right? In this sort of bubble of magical chaos. I really like that idea. Be a hell of a thing to explain and run, but I like it, actually. It's a good one. Cool. Lost at Sea. January 4th, another one in the books. Let's jump back. Let's do one of the days I missed. I think 11:30. Go back and we'll try very hard to pretend that it's November 30th, a Sunday. And we'll come up with something for this. Since we're on the right-hand side page, I'll use prompts from the back of the book. Let me clear out our typed. D100 at the back. This is just a bunch of phrases and ideas that I wrote down just to spark us. I mean, that whole thing came from Twisted into Knots, right? So it's like really, it's just whatever ideas. Oh, what would that be? 10? Is that the way? No. I would normally interpret that. Like, I guess you could take that as 100. I've actually rolled 100 on this before. Let's try again. Let's get something new. 94. Oh, interesting. Pressed into it. Like a mold. Pressed into it. I also think of like being impressed. Player manual says that's 100. Gotcha. Nice. Doesn't happen very often. But you'd be surprised rolling on a D100 list just how many times you hit the same number. It's kind of wild. Peer pressured into it. Socially. Here, let's get this typed. Pressed in, pressured in. I also think of like tattoos. That could be kind of interesting. I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about tattoos, so I'd sound like an idiot real fast. I also think of like chiseling, right? Like markings into stone, symbols or some sort of language. Clues, an emblem, yeah, markings, some sort of sigil. Cookies. Putting sigils into cookies. That'd be good for D&D night. Could also just be a trap. Like an old school, yeah, let's do some dungeon traps. Being pressed into it. The walls come closing together. The ceiling smushes you down. Yeah. Yeah, some sort of trap. Quicksand, yeah. Let's think about this. How can we... Okay. All right. Rumor has it that dungeon was booby-trapped by ... Who designed the traps in this dungeon? Gnome Tinkerers. I can get behind that. Somebody, maybe like a, I'll think of it while I type. Trying to find a word for it. Something like a stage magician, or someone who does the sleight of hand, like an escape artist, maybe. Thinking like who laid the traps. So rumor has it. Let's say, yeah, I'll just say a stage magician. I think that gets the idea across that I'm thinking. Tripwires makes me think of like a something being traps being laid by like an orc, like a troop, or like a battalion or something. Like the captain and his men came in, and for some reason they had to lay traps. Like that brings to mind a very different type of trap than what gnome tinkerers or a stage magician would do. Primitive goblin tribe, I like that too. Full waves of poisoned water. Oof. Poison water, that's a good one. Well-renowned mechanic, no one's gotten past the traps and lived. Mage with no hands, so he uses mage hand, you mean, to make the traps. So no trap would have any dangers that are more than, what, 10 pounds? Rumor has it that dungeon is trapped by gnome tinkerers, a stage magician, orc troops, an old god. Definitely some sort of mage. But what? What's the unique? Maybe it's like a... You know what I'd like? I'd like a... What's a... Like a professor, you know? Somebody who teaches magic. An arcane scholar, let's say. Is illusion mage just a mage? I don't know, actually. Solitary wizard, a rogue. Hey, blue-haired. Prompt is pressed into it, which you've taken to mean like traps. So rumor has it the dungeon was booby-trapped by, so far we have gnome tinkerers, a stage magician, orc troops, an old god, an arcane scholar, cultists, that's good, a race of sentient traps, mimics. Basically mimics. And what I love about these is that every single one of them brings to mind a different sort of experience, right? Trying to make your way through traps like this. how about to use that sentient idea and maybe mimics too? What if it's like malfunctioning constructs? School of Ghosts, I like that. I don't know what I don't know what you're talking about, Construct. Oh. School of Ghosts, a Hunter's Apprentice. Yeah, these are all good. It's good stuff. Children. Crazy bard with some kind of hypnosis and charm. Okay, okay. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay. Our only hope of making it through is to bring. So rumor has it that the dungeon was booby-trapped by gnome tinkerers, blood cultists, the Hunters Guild. Our only hope of making it through is to bring cheese. Okay. Sure. Makes as much sense as anything else. Oh, a welcome gift. A sacrifice. Maybe a little bit of both. Oni that traps stealers from the treasure tombs. Someone who knows detect magic. Definitely that would help. That would help. Paper cut versus cheese cut. Smart. I mean, I like where that could take us. Let's just say blindfolds. Someone that can speak to mimics. Head of a giant. Okay. Rumor has it, dungeon was trapped by a stage musician. Trapped by an old god. Our only hope of making it through is to bring cheese, a gift, blindfolds, the monster's head, a small child. My mix can't comprehend language. Fair. The only way of making it through a figure. How about an animal that could, for some reason, track through, like crows? Can only make it through if we bring crows. How many crows can we find? An artifact? Don't mind artifact. At least 7 crows or 7 artifacts. Our only hope of making it through is to bring, you know what? Here, this inspired by what's the, why it was one of my favorite games last year. Why can't I remember it? It was the Remedy made Control. We gotta bring music. Obviously, particular music. Maybe there's a certain material. My favorite game of last year, Comptroller by Remedy. Maybe the way the light shines through, maybe we need to bring gemstones or we need to bring gold. I guess the light could shine through cheese too. You know what? It's a, going back to like an artifact or like a thing. It's a particular, ooh. We haven't had the royals in a while, so how about the Queen's necklace? Okay. Bringing light itself. I do like that idea. All right, let's roll a couple of these. So we end up, oh, sorry, I forgot. There. Now we can roll a couple. A 5 and a 6. Rumor has it the dungeon is booby trapped by an arcane scholar. Our only hope of making it through is to bring crows. Well, they are pretty wise. I just imagine giving the gist of this to a party in one of my games and saying that, and it's like, okay, let me explain. It's like the NPC giving them a lowdown, like the only way we'll make it through this dungeon. This scholar that we're talking about, well, he had a bit of a thing. His pet, he cared for crows, and well, we think for some of these traps that he laid, it's the only way. They are the only way through. He uses the crows to make an army. I mean, it is true. If you're trying to truly make something secure, you're gonna trap it in such a way that only you could make it through. So it's like, okay, guys, we have to secure ourselves the brightest crows we can. To how fast can we teach crows to do tricks? Because that's what we're gonna need. I actually have one of my bard in one of my games. Their sort of companion creature and sort of their fey spirit animals are crows. Oh boy. Rumor has it that dungeon was booby-trapped by blood cultists. Our only hope of making it through is to bring cheese. Yes, this is what we need. This is the type of, okay, this is straight nonsense. How do we fit those pieces together? What do we know about cheese? What do we know about blood cultists? The crows follow the mage the traps every time they would eventually memorize. That's fair. I'm thinking of a line to connect these two dots. It's like, well, maybe we just you know what? We did mistranslate some of these runes, and everywhere we thought that the arrow and then the moon symbol, we thought that was blood. Turns out this whole time that's just cheese. These are cheese cultists. We're totally fine. This is gonna be no problem at all. It's like, wait, why do we need cheese? It's like, well, it's a dungeon trapped by blood cultists. Do you want to use your blood, or should we try to gather as many rats as we can? We're gonna need just bags. We're gonna need trunks of rats to bring with us to make this work. Yeah, it was curdle, not clot. Cheese with bone health. Okay, all right. You know what? Hey, you know what? We found a way in. Me in a pinch. I would, you know, somebody's delivering this. Okay, yeah, blood cultists do this, and yes, the what we have here says we're gonna need to bring cheese. Oh no, I'm sorry. We're gonna need chests of gold to buy our way in. Sorry, I misread that for a second. Hey, Austin. Silly. So glad the cheese idea found the blood cultist idea. Rumor has it, this dungeon was booby-trapped by malfunctioning constructs. Our only hope of making it through is to bring with us the Queen's Necklace. Yeah, it doesn't specify type of cheese. The Queen's Necklace. So this feels like the constructs are old, right? They're malfunctioning because of how old they are, and sort of the kingdom or perhaps the region that they're from, like what the stones that sort of power them, that they pass light through, let's say, to create what they do. The queen comes from there. Her necklace she actually has, it's this rare gemstone, and she's the only known person to have it. So if we want to make our way through that dungeon, we're going to need to, it's real simple. We just need to, if we want to get in the dungeon first, we've got to find a way to just take that necklace off of the queen's neck. No big deal. Easy peasy. Does anybody know anybody at the castle? Contra feels like a jab. It's not. It's definitely not. Yeah. What's Malik, what's Tess? Dungeon could be the queen's tomb. That's true. Maybe the queen, guys, maybe the queen's a construct. Maybe she has been the whole time. We've got a whole story here, beginning, middle, and end. Oh, see, I haven't played the Elder Scrolls. It's on my list. I haven't played any of those games. Sounds like they have some good ideas in there. Who'da thunk it? Gotta reroll both of these. Oh, I like this one a lot. 8 and 5. Rumor has it the dungeon was booby-trapped by a hunter's guild. Our only hope of making it through is to bring one of their own. Yes. Yes. There are traps that the hunters will lay. See a construct. Later. Yeah, I like that a lot. I like the idea that the hunters would have trapped it in such a way that it's impossible to. It's too intricate. This is what they do. They catch intelligent creatures, and the trick there would be. Luckily, there's a disillusioned, like the granddaughter of like the hunters guild founder is estranged and living in another city. All we have to do is convince her. She is sort of a notorious assassin now, but if we can convince her that this will hurt the guild, she'll come with us and she'll help us through the dungeon. See, the problem, Austin, I wouldn't start with Skyrim. I'd have to go back. I'd have to play the earliest games. Rumor has it that dungeon was booby-trapped by gnome tinkerers. And our only hope of making it through is to bring a gift. You know, the gnomish are actually fairly hospitable people. If we can just bring something valuable enough to them and present it, it's customary in any sort of gnomish trap that if you know where to look and if you know where to open, there is sort of a little gift area. There's a little place to sign in. This particular family is very hospitable, and if we bring something and they recognize, they'll let us right through. We just have to really, if we could track down their registry, that would help. Best cap ever? Good question. Did you ever have a player that just optimized their character to fight better? So, I've definitely had players that will, employ sort of like a particular type of metagaming for their character creation because they have a certain idea in mind, and I don't fault anybody for doing that, but I also think that I'm probably not the best fit as a DM for that type of player. Like, I get that that's fun, but I feel like I'm a much better fit for people who sort of want to, metagame in the way of trying to create a character that's the best fit for that character, right? Flaws and all, right? Sort of taking in, not optimizing, but instead sort of embracing the kind of the rough edges of a character and playing both the strengths and the weaknesses for fun. So I have had that. I can definitely think of examples of there's that aspect of the game, which I think can be fun. And I don't, like I said, I don't fault anybody for it. I wouldn't kick anybody out of my game for it. But I think I get probably a little bit more excited to help people. You know, I don't know subclasses. I don't really know all that stuff super well. That's player stuff. I get a lot more excited when people are like, yeah, forget the, you know, I'm not trying to, people, I guess, are willing to have imperfect builds. I think that's, I see that as a good sign. Oh, this was a 4. This is a 2. Nope, close. Just keep rolling the same dang numbers, 2, 6, and 1 every time. Okay. Rumor has it the dungeon was booby-trapped by an old god. Our only hope of making it through is to bring the monster's head with us. Kind of makes me think that the god who created it is a monster, is also seen as a monster. An old god that became a monster, maybe was always a monster. So, yeah, if we want to walk through that god's stomping grounds, we just have to bring its severed head with us. It'll guide us through. Austin, you think the goal is always to make a fun, engaging game? How can I use this to make it fun and not create something difficult for the sake of it? Yeah, right. Yeah, it's sort of, it's why, like, the number one reason why you don't want to hear people say, but that's what my character would do, has nothing really to do with, well, there's lots of reasons, but the main reason is because, well, your job at the table as a player is kind of, there's a few things, but it's very important for you to know your character and keep your character in mind, and also to make sure that you're playing the game in such a way that everybody gets to have fun. That's kind of the most important stuff, right? Like, if you're, you know, and you don't really want to sacrifice one for the other, you want to find that balance, and that can be hard sometimes, but you know, my hope is to try to cultivate the type of game at my table where players that are faced with that difficult decision of, like, it doesn't feel like my character would do X, Y, or Z, but I also want to keep the game fun for everybody, just like we run into here with blood cultists and cheese. That's a creative sort of storytelling problem. Let's sit down and solve it together. What's the character decision or motivation? What can we do with this character that's going to keep them interesting and keep them sort of coherent, but also let everybody keep having fun at the same time? Yeah. What do you mean? I ruined the game and stopped everything for everybody. That's just what my character, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes you have to take that back to the beginning and say, can you create a character this time? Create a new character that, like, wants to be a part of the group, that wants to be, like, it's a lot easier, you know, running a group for 5 loners who don't want to associate with each other. That's a bad time all around. That's a bad time for everyone. Good stuff. We did it. We did 2. That's a good day's work. We did our dungeon trap delving from the past, and today is Lost at Sea. Come back tomorrow for 1-5. We'll be caught up in no time. The streak continues. Jingle, it's even more annoying when everyone wants to run the lone wolf tiefling rogue. Yup. Cool. Thanks, everybody. I'll drop a invite link to the Discord if you're just hanging out and not a part of the community over there. This is the only place that I ever put the link. So everybody that's over there has come through the stream, liked it, and they hang out over there. Sometimes the same username, sometimes different ones. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't plug my zine, which is basically a refined version of these types of ideas, just sort of pushed a little bit further and made a little bit more easy to use at your table. Not to say that my chicken scratch in this book isn't easy for everybody to use, but I'm the only one that has this, so paper printed staples tends to help with the rest of it. Hope everybody has a great Sunday. I plan to be back on later today after I get a few things done. So hope to catch you guys on another stream later on. See ya.